Hello, I'm Lesley Harbon, and I'm here to talk about Language Teachers' Narratives of Practice, a publication from Cambridge Scholars Publishing in 2013, jointly edited by Robyn, Moloney and myself. Well, I guess we had three aims really in publishing the book. Certainly we wanted to get at the heart of language teaching, and what better way to do that than with the stories of language teachers, getting to the essence of what they do, why they do, where their lives began with the study and the teaching of languages and so on, essentially examining their life worlds. Secondly, we wanted to explore the diversity of contexts where languages are taught through Australian schools, primary schools, secondary schools, and in all sorts of different contexts throughout Australia. We have achieved, I believe, our aim in creating this new resource, which we believe has a number of different aims, none the least in answering our own need for a text to use with our pre-service language teacher groups. We focused on narrative, I guess, because we believe strongly that narratives form our own discourses and our own identities. We don't go through a day without storying our worlds, and this kind of thing is definitely a practice that teachers engage in. Each of the chapters begins with a personal biography. We've asked the teachers to each portray themselves and where languages lie in their lives, and then they go on to develop a particular focus which becomes a theme, a separate theme within the book. Narratives do literally open windows to new understandings, and through these teachers' stories we believe that we can take the readers into these new understandings about languages education. Interestingly, the teachers almost all of them really, included metaphor in their choice of descriptions of their practice. And we know that metaphors have a particular purpose in our discourse. In the stories of these teachers, in the various chapters, you'll find metaphors of journeys, of eyes and focus and seeing things more clearly. You'll find metaphors of geography, such as mountains. You'll see metaphors of light, such as a new way of seeing. Teachers in these chapters also claim new roles for themselves and label these roles with metaphors such as guide or carer. The stories containing these metaphors assist the readers, we believe, to face the values and their beliefs and really refine their own identity as well.
Hello, I'm Robyn Moloney from Macquarie University, and I'm just going to briefly discuss the content of some of the narratives and suggest some questions that you might like to consider in your reading, and things to think about, both in relation to the teacher who's written the narrative, but also to yourself and your own journey. Firstly, I think a lot of the narratives are about identity and culture and belonging. And we're very pleased that the first two narratives in the book are written by teachers of Aboriginal languages. Now these teachers, in fact, didn't know their own family languages and had to reclaim those languages and learn them from scratch themselves before they could teach them. So I wonder if you might like to consider what deep aspirations for social justice those teachers might have around their teaching and learning for both Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australian children. Identity and heritage and belonging are also extremely important in immigrant communities. We have a number of chapters about the teaching of community languages such as Chinese and Arabic and Hindi, and we can hear the teachers' passion for those languages as part of their own lives and backgrounds coming through. But what challenges are those teachers facing in those contexts? The culture of Australian country towns can be very different to city schools that have access to resources and native speakers. So Mercurius Goldstein teaches Japanese in a country town up on the far north coast of New South Wales. How does he use a kind of dialogue to stimulate his students' thinking, to address and tease out prejudices in the community there and inspire his students with interest in Japan? In contrast, in Sydney, what is the kind of rich environment and autonomous learning opportunities that Sally Mizashiri provides to her students who are gifted and talented language learners? How is Australia, as a country far from the more traditional centres of classics learning, how has Australia become a leader in the development of classics resources and love of classics learning? Look at Emily's chapter to find that out. Irina, Ben and Melissa all offer three very different accounts of how they individually encountered intercultural learning. What are the points of differences and similarity in those narratives? The last narrative in the book we find particularly moving, Kate Reisenstein's journey in Indonesian teaching and disappointments she's had, but her resilience that has kept her going through her journey. She's very big on the metaphor of journey, and she's very positive about that forward movement in her journey. Where does that resilience come from? Then, what kind of narrative would you write yourself? What can you identify in your background that has shaped your particular interaction with language teaching, how you see it, how you see your practice? What are your values in your teaching and your aspirations for your students? Where do you find your identity as a language educator, your resilience and your leadership? We wish you all the best with your enjoyment and your use of the narratives. We have an extra teaching resource that we'd be happy to share if you'd like to contact us through our academic emails. We'd be happy to share that resource with you, and all the best in your own forward professional journey. Thank you.